How many of you love to travel? You love to get away and enjoy the sights and sounds of the city or other states. Maybe even going to another country, the thought of it just thrills you. But whether it's near or far, there's many preparations that need to be done before you travel. How will you get there? When will you go? How much money will you spend when you get there? What sights will you see? And what sights will you see along the way? With so many questions demanding answers, it's easy to lose sight of basic preparations. What am I talking about? In a word, culture. Today we'll take a brief look at one of the most basic concepts of culture, dinner time. We will look at what to expect when you're invited to a French dinner and what table etiquette is expected for the occasion. First of all, France is a culture of fashion. Mary Bosrick, the author of European Business, Customs and Manners, stated, "The French are the world's fashion leaders." So what does that mean for us? It means for the evening you'll want to put away your jeans and that Eiffel Tower t-shirt and put on something fashionable. But you want to be comfortable. The dinners usually last between 1.5 to 2 hours, and you'll be served up to 7 courses. A nice gesture would be to send some flowers in the morning before the dinner, or, if you would rather, you could bring something from your own country, maybe some candies, or maybe a jam that you made. Whatever you decide, be sure you're on time. It's very important to them that you're on time. If you're going to be more than 10 minutes late, be sure to call them and let them know why you're going to be late and what time you expect to arrive. One other thing that you'd like to do before you leave is to be sure to visit a website named I Dream of France. On the website, they show a very basic French place setting. And so even though this might be more formal than what you would expect, it very possibly could be something that you would see when you're there. And it has several forks and knives. They have a fish fork. They have a fish knife. If there isn't a course with fish, then those will not be there. But there'll be other silverware there for your use. There's also several glasses at the top. One will be for water. That's the largest glass. The others will be for different wines that will be served with each course. On the far side here is a plate just for the bread. Sometimes they don't have a plate there. Sometimes it's just a napkin. Or it could be that they set the bread right on the tablecloth. But just so that you're aware of what you might see when you arrive. Knowing what to expect before you are there is important, but just as important are the customs with seating arrangements. The host and the hostess are always the first to be seated, and they're usually seated at opposite ends of the table. The guests of honor will be seated to the right of each of them, and around the table the guests will be seated man, woman, man, woman. So unless there's a name card, you'll want to wait to be seated. So now that you're seated, you're almost ready to eat. One of the most important things in France is that your hands need to stay above the table. If you place your hands on your lap or to the sides, they feel that that's impolite or rude. And so be sure that you rest your hands or your forearms on the table if you're a lady. If you're a man, then you can rest your wrists on the table. It's important to kind of keep watch of the other guests and your hostess. Take your lead from them, how fast they're eating, how slow they're eating. This is a time that they love to savor their food and just visit with you. So you'll want to watch and see how fast they are eating. You'll want to cut your meat or your food with your right hand and eat with your left. Unlike in America, we cut with our right and then switch hands and pick up our fork with our right and start eating. So you'll always want to use your silverware unless you're eating seafood. They do use their fingers to pick out the oysters or the mussels from their shells. When the salad is served, be sure that you don't cut your salad. Use your knife to fold the salad onto your fork and eat it. You'll want to rest your knife and your fork between bites on your plate at the 8 o'clock and 4 o'clock positions. As far as the bread is never to be bitten off. You'll tear a small piece off, and then you'll use your fork to clean your plate if you want to do that. Between the courses, that is customary if the plates are going to be used for the next course. If you need a refill of wine, simply finish the wine that's in your glass, and the hostess will have the waitress refill your wine. If you are done with your drink, simply leave your glass half full, and then they won't serve you anymore. When you're finished, you'll want to put your silverware on the right side of the plate at the 5:25 position, so side by side there, and then they'll know that you're done for the evening. Now, this is by no means an inclusive list of customs that the French use, but hopefully you'll be more prepared when you travel, especially to European countries such as France. The two things that are most important to remember are always be on time and always follow the host. If you'll do these two things, there'll be less chance that you'll offend them, and you'll enjoy yourself. Thank you. I did it, I think.